Hello, it is Kelsey and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make this adorable watermelon themed crochet bra, brassiere, bralette, crop top, whatever you want to call it. So let's get started. All right, everybody, so for this tutorial, you're going to need a 5mm crochet hook. This is my Clover Amour crochet hook. I got it at Joann's. These are some scissors. They are Singer. They're super sharp, really nice. Got them at Joann's as well. And I also have a regular metal yarn needle. So for this, you're going to need red yarn, which I have here. You're gonna need white yarn, which I have here, and you're gonna need some green yarn, which I have here. You're also going to need a black yarn. So all of the yarns that I have here are either Peaches and Cream from Walmart or Lily Sugar and Cream from Joann's. So all of these are a 4 worsted weight cotton yarn. You can use any yarn that you like, just make sure all of it is the same. Generally, it looks better if they're all the same brand. I would recommend cotton, but you can use acrylic if you have it, if you like it better. It's really up to you. Just make sure you have red, white, a dark green, light green, whatever you feel like, and a black. So today we're going to begin with the red. While filming this tutorial today, I just want to let you know I am making a size medium. If you want to make any other size, find out what size you are. All of that extra information is going to be down in the description. It's going to have everything, how many chains you need to do, how many rows you need to do for each different size. So that will be in the description. To start with, I'm going to be doing a slip stitch with my red yarn. I'm gonna put my hook in there and I'm gonna tighten it down. So the first thing we're going to be making is 2 cups. They are little triangles. I have tutorials for just the cup on my YouTube channel, but I am still going to give a general overview. So for the size medium, I'm going to chain 15. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 15. After I have my 15 chains, I'm gonna turn back on my chain and I'm going to start doing single crochets. I'm going to do a single crochet in each chain until I get to my very last one, and in the very last one I'm actually going to be placing 3 single crochets all together in that last chain. So here we are. I've done single crochets all the way up the side and I have 1 chain left right here at the top. You can see it's kind of small, but I'm going to be doing 3 single crochets in that last chain. First one I kind of placed just regular on the side. Second one I kind of like try to place it on the very top because we want to be going around. So, and then the last one I try to place it on the other side. So at this point, I'm gonna start single crocheting down the other side of my chain. So the first one is right here. Second one is gonna be here. And I will just single crochet all the way down the other side of my base chain, and I like to go ahead and make sure that I have exactly the same amount of stitches on both sides as well. Here I am done with that. I did a chain 15, so I should have 13 stitches going up the side, 3 in the top one, and 13 stitches going down my other side. But from here, I'm just gonna go ahead and turn that around, and I'm gonna start single crocheting back up the row. We're gonna single crochet until I hit the center of my 3 single crochets in the top. The center is just gonna be the one in the middle, so it'd be the first, then the second, that one's the middle, and then the third. So here I am at the middle 3, so that's 1, this one is 2, this one is 3. So I'm gonna single crochet in the first one, in the second one, which is the middle, the center, the top of my cup, I'm gonna do my 3 single crochets all in that one stitch, and then I will just continue with the single crochets down the other side. And that is going to be 2 rows for us. So starting in the center, counting out, that's row 1, row 2. So for a size medium, I'm just going to keep repeating this until I have 14 total rows. To look at your specific size and row count, you can look in the description down below. But I'm going to go ahead and do those 14 rows and then I will come back. So I did my 14 rows. Here it is. It is going to be a little bit curved. It's not going to lay flat, and that's all right because, you know, your chest is naturally curved, so it'll fit. I am going to snip off this excess on the bottom from our beginning chain, and then I'm also going to cut off from my yarn here. So I'm just going to cut off probably 1.5 inches, 2 inches. I'm gonna pull it through and then pull it tight. So after you finish your first cup, we're gonna go ahead and make another one exactly like this, but the second time you're not gonna cut off the end because we're gonna be continuing from there. So I'm just gonna go make my second cup and then I will meet you back here. I finished my other cup. Here it is. Now I have 2. So what we're gonna do is, it's still connected to the bottom of our cup. I just did this row. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to just turn my cup so that the bottom is facing up now. And I'm gonna start single crocheting across the bottom of there. I am going to cut off this excess yarn because I don't need it anymore. But I personally don't chain 1. You can if that makes you more comfortable. Either way. We are just going to start crocheting across the bottom of our cup. There should be nice little spaces for you to go in. Once I get to the center here, I have 1 stitch left. I'm gonna go ahead and put my hook through there. And then this is when I'm gonna grab my other cup. I wanna make sure that they're both facing up at this point, make sure they are the same way. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my hook in the first stitch on my other cup. And this is going to connect our cups together. I'm just going to yarn over, pull through both cups, and do a single crochet, and then I will just continue with my single crochets all the way down the bottom of this cup. And it should be connected right along the middle. I'm coming up on the end of my row here, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to do 2 rows of red, 2 rows of white, and then 3 rows of the dark green. Or light green, whichever one you want. But I just did my first row of red, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn my cups over and I'm gonna do my second row right now. We're just gonna go all the way across until we get to our last one, and the last one we're gonna do the color switch, so I will meet you there. Last stitch, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go through it like I was doing a regular single crochet and then yarn over and pull through 1. And at this point, I am going to cut off my red yarn, give it a couple inches to breathe, and then I'm gonna pull out my white yarn now, and I'm going to hook on my white yarn and I'm gonna pull it through these 2 to finish off the single crochet. This is also where you can tie your two ends in a knot. So at this point, I'm going to turn my work. And I am going to bring my two ends up and onto my work so that I can crochet them under this row of single crochets with my white. So I have my two, my white and my red, and they're just sitting around. And I'm going to start my row of white single crochets from here. So I'm going to go in the first stitch. Make sure I'm going over my ends, pull through, and start with my single crochets. So like I said, we're gonna do 2 rows of the white. That is probably good enough for the ends. I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I did 10 stitches covering up the ends. And at this point, I will just chop them. And that keeps them hidden. You can't tell they're in there. You can kind of tell on the back, but this is the back of our work, so it doesn't really matter. And then I will just continue on normal with my white. I'm going to do 2 full rows of single crochets with my white. And then on the last stitch of my single crochet row in the white, I'm gonna do the same exact thing. I'm going to change my colors, but we're gonna go to darker green. So whenever I get there, I will show you how to do it again. Here's the end of my second row of white. Here's my last stitch. I'm gonna go through, yarn over and pull through. And at this point, we can cut off our white yarn because we're done with that. I'm gonna grab my green yarn, grab it and pull it through. And I'm gonna tie my yarn together. Usually 2 knots is enough, but if you want to be extra careful, you can do 3. After I've tied my knot, I am going to flip my work over, grab my 2 pieces of scrap yarn, pull them up and over so that they're laying on top of my stitches, and then I'm going to start my 3 rows of my green color. Make sure you're crocheting over the scrap yarn. So I will just do those 3 rows and then I'll come back and we will finish this up. Here's my last stitch of the green. And I'm gonna go ahead and cut that off, probably about 3 inches or so. Going to yarn over, pull through and pull that tight. And then to weave my end in, I'm just gonna take my yarn needle, go ahead and put that through, and then I'm just gonna run it under this row of single crochets, wrap it around, give it a loop, whatever you want to do. Alright, and after that's done, we can go ahead and cut that off. And that is the general idea of the top. So, as you know, watermelons have seeds. I mean, unless you buy seedless watermelons, but anyway. This is where we're gonna need our black yarn, so let me grab that. All right, so I'm gonna grab my black yarn now, and I'm just gonna pull off a good piece however long you want it to be on your yarn needle, basically. If you don't like long pieces of yarn, cut a shorter piece. If you want to do it all in one go, you can cut a longer piece. But I just cut a good piece off of my cone. I'm going to put it through my needle. And I'll have it offset to where this is one end, and then my other end is over here, not very long. The first seed that I put in is always right here in the middle, kind of where our first base chain stopped. So I like to put it up right there. And I'll pull it through until there is maybe 2 or 3 inches, however long you need it to tie a good knot. It's up to you, really. And then I'm gonna go up to the next point, next row, and I'm gonna go back through. Pull it all the way through. And if that's good for you, you can leave it like that, cut it off, tie a knot, but I like it a little thicker, so I'm gonna put my yarn back up through this hole, and I'm gonna run it through again so that it is a little bit of a wider seed. There we go. Now I'm gonna flip it over to the back side. I have my short end here, my long end up here. I'm gonna take my long end and go under this, just so that my ends are closer together, easier to tie up. And then I'm going to cut this off, and I'm gonna tie them in a knot. Usually 2 or 3 knots is good to go. After I've tied my knots, I will cut my yarn off. And that is how I put on my watermelon seeds. So you can put on as many watermelon seeds as you want. I usually just do 3, 1 in the center and 2 off to the side, so it makes a little triangle. It's very cute, but yeah, like I said, you could put as many as you want. You could put them anywhere you want, but I just put them there, there, and there. So I'm gonna do my next one. I usually go over about 6 rows and come up at a good spot. We'll pull it through, and then we'll go skip 1 hole and we'll go down the next one. Gonna do it one more time. So there's my second one. On the back side, I'm gonna go through here, sorry. Go ahead and tie it. And then I'll cut it off. So there's the second one, and then on the other side, I just try to make sure that it is even with this one. I just put another one over here. All right, so there are my seeds on this side. I'm gonna go ahead and do it on this side, and then we'll come back and put the straps on. So I put the seeds on both sides. Generally, we're pretty much done. All we have left to do is to put on the straps. So I have my red. I like to use the red for the straps. I guess you can use any color that you want, really. But I'm going to go put my hook through the top of my cup, which is going to be the middle of the 3 stitches in the top, right there. And then I will take my red yarn, pull it through. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to tie a knot. And then at this point, I'm going to get out my yarn needle, take my shorter end of my yarn, and I'm going to put it through my needle. And I'm going to take this little piece of yarn and I'm going to weave it into my top. So this is the back side. I'm gonna pull it down and I'm just gonna run it under some of these single crochets around the edges. Doesn't have to be much. All right, so after I've done that, I'm gonna cut off whatever's left. And then you should just have a nice piece of yarn coming straight off the top of your cup. So I'm gonna stick my yarn, I'm gonna stick my hook right back in that hole where we tied our knot. And then I'm going to yarn over and pull through. And then this is where I'm going to start a chain. And that chain is going to be my strap. I don't generally measure my straps. I don't really count how many chains that I'm doing. I just eyeball it and I stop chaining whenever the strap is long enough to go over your shoulder, across your back, and tie in a bow. And I'll show you guys that once I get there. Okay, I have about this much chain right now and I'm just going to measure it really quick. So I'm going to pull this up like it was going over my shoulder. It's gonna come up and over and it's gonna cross your back and it's gonna come down to this point here. And at this point, it will cross your back again and it will come over to here. So at this point, you're gonna need to have enough of your chain left over so that it will come meet the other side and have a nice bow in the middle. So this right here from here to here is not exactly long enough. I just need to make it probably 6 or 7 inches longer, it depends. And then I will cut it off and that'll be our strap. Here is the strap. So it is long enough to come from this side, meet in the middle, and tie a nice little bow with the other side. So now that my chain is long enough, I'm going to cut off probably 2.5, 3 inches and pull it tight. And once I do that, I'm going to take my end, I'm going to fold it back over my chain like that so that they are running right along each other. And then I'm going to tie the end of my chain in a knot. And I'm going to try to get the knot as close as I can to the end here. And then I'm going to pull it tight. Make sure you're pulling the chain and you're also pulling the end of your yarn. So it's going to make a nice tight little knot at the very end of our chain there, and I'm just going to cut off our yarn because our yarn was caught in the knot and it's not going to come out. So here we have our strap, and at the end of our strap is a nice little knot to keep it in place. So I'm just going to repeat that on the other side now so that we have 2 straps. So I have both my straps done. Here is the finished watermelon top. It is so cute. Obviously you can make the bottom longer, you can add stripes, you can lengthen the stripes of any of these colors that you want. But yeah, here it is. I'm gonna show you how to lace it up really quick. So this is the back. I'm gonna take this strap here. I'm going to pull it through at the top of my red rose, which is 2 rows up into your top. Sometimes with the knot on the end, it is a little tough to pull through, but that's all right. Pull it enough, just to make sure you leave enough room for your shoulder, and then I will come across, and it's gonna go in the bottom corner of the green. And we're gonna do the same exact thing with our other strap. We're gonna take from here, go across, it's gonna go in the top of the red, pull it through, it's gonna go across again, and it's gonna go in the bottom of the green over here. So it will come together at the bottom and we'll tie a nice little bow. Here's the finished product for today. I just want to thank you guys so much for watching this tutorial. I really hope you like this watermelon top. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up. If you like my content, please subscribe to my channel. It'll help me out a lot. If you are a crocheter yourself and you're interested in joining my Discord, I will link that down below. We talk about crochet, knitting, projects, just anything in general, really. I also announce on there whenever I'm going live on Twitch, so you can hang out with me and crochet along, you know, do whatever you want to do. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for a wonderful experience here on YouTube so far. Hope you liked it.